We're looking at, including our young girls. We're looking at gender equality, making sure that we're developing entrepreneurialism. Challenge is good, failure is good, and so is success. We do have a Digitech committee where our Black girls are part of, and they are leading on in terms of what does tech look like to them.
What's up, you people? It's Johanna, aka Jojo. Today I have Paulette Watson. Welcome, Paulette. And can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Joanna. Thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited. As you know, my name's Paulette Watson. I am the founder and CEO or managing director for Academy Achievers. And we work with children and young people who are disaffected, disadvantaged, vulnerable, and experience real trauma. And they come from marginalized communities. And what that means is that, these young people are, exposed to serious gang related issues. Some of them are sexually exploited. They're living in poverty, in receipt of free school meals from local schools. And it's difficult for these young people. And for us, Academy Achievers, we offer projects, robotic and AI, science, technology, engineering, and math subjects and activities to try and engage these young people, but not only engage them where they're just creating these different coding and creating games. We are literally getting them to be creative thinkers, understanding the area where they're living, being involved in discussions like, for example, like climate change, understanding what globalization is, digitalization, and really getting young people to be give them a voice, like mini adults, and where they're able to look at how they can use the actual computational thinking and apply that to their everyday life. With Academy Achievers, we offer so many projects and activities. So the one we're doing right now is the virtual summer camp, which is about to happen during the summer holidays. And we're delivering it differently. Last year, we did it every single day. We are still doing it every single day, but not for 8 hours online, because we know the young people need to have a break. But it's more engaging, more fun. It's a lot more robust, and they're learning something from it. We're also introducing the early years STEM online virtual music, interactive music project. We also do our robotic after school club, which is starting up again in October 2021. We also run the BME project, and that is to raise 1 million BME girls' aspiration in science, technology, engineering, and maths-related careers. And that is one of our big projects that we want to get 1 million girls. But like I said, it's not just about developing their skill set, but it's also working in collaboration and collectively with grassroots community leaders, and also working with corporates, and to ensure that once they get these young girls, it's about retaining them and looking at the, diversity and inclusion policy, and how do they integrate young girls, especially our girls, because sometimes our girls are a bit, they want to be heard, and they're very sassy, but sassy in a good way, because they're unique in terms of how their hair is, in terms of their eyelashes, their makeup, and they need to be accepted because they add value. And that's what we need to ensure, that these corporations understand that these young girls, they bring value, and how we can get them not only to be seated at the table, but also to understand how to create the algorithms, be a part of it, so we can dispel the issue of unconscious biasness when we are creating products for young people. A bit more about me and my mother. My daughter, Simone, she's 26 years old, about to start her PhD in AI and tech. And the concept BME really comes from bringing up Simone. And I'm not saying that I struggled, but I saw the struggles of what it could be if I didn't have the correct support system in place. And being Simone's computer science teacher, and her seeing me as a role model, being a leader in a local school, where I was head of IT, e-learning, and where I was supporting these young girls to push forward and teach them GCSE and A-level. And my daughter's seeing that, and she saw when I completed my master's in computer science, and then I went on to do my MBA, and she saw me traveling, and we traveled together, made her decide to do exceptionally well. So the Be Me project really is to show that, our young girls do need role models. They do need to see people that they can talk to understand people's journey, because failure, I've always told my daughter, only occurs when you give up. I've always said to her that you are allowed to fail, but it's what you do with it. And that's why the Be Me project is really important, because there are many failures within our community, Joanne. Yeah, there are, broken families, there are people who don't have jobs, but that doesn't mean that's the end of the road. Yeah, it really doesn't. We can be successful because we have to keep trying. Every day is a new day. Yeah, and every day bring these challenges is how you go about it. So for me, for Academy Achievers, running it as an organization hasn't been easy, especially during the COVID period. And it was like, how do we deliver differently? And having the digital transformation strategy in place, making sure that my staff we had to change the culture. We had to explain to them what digitalization means. We had to explain to them that, we needed to build their capacity. We got them to do training, Google Level 1, Google Level 2. We also got them all to do the Prince 2 management course, which they've all passed. And what's good now, they're all project management, and they project run or manage a particular activity. So we've got one person managing the robotic AI tournament, another one managing the virtual summer school, another one doing the early years. So each person who's a project manager is responsible for a project, yeah, and they are accountable. And then anything that needs to be, any checkpoints needs to refer back to the project board. Do you see what I mean? So everybody knows what's happening. We work in collaboration with our accountant. We had a risk consultant, management consultant who worked with us, who developed our risk strategy, developed our risk appetite. And because of that now, I've been able to focus on me as an individual to ensure that I'm pushing the organization forward. So we're scaling up. I've won so many awards. I've been nominated for the National Diversity Woman in Excellence in IT, the Black Stars Awards. Do you know what? The list is quite long. I've featured in so many different articles. Last week I was doing the Engineering Week, where we looked at the Internet of Things. I talk about our case study in terms of we're doing a case study in Ghana with a fish farm. And literally the reason why we're doing this is because our girls, we want them to understand what frugal innovation means. And what that means is looking at the issue around food scarcity globally and looking at how we can, understand how much fish is that we can get, or, our fish farm, looking at the characteristics, making sure that the water's at a good temperature, the environment, and looking at buying more for less. So getting young girls to think about that concept, to understand, well, actually, I'm a young person, and in the next 5 to 10 years, if there's a problem with the food industry, we need to be a part of that. We need to make some serious decisions. We need to solve problems. How do we do that? And we need those young people seated at that table to be part of that process. Other issues, looking at, like I said, our climate change. How do we get young girls to be ambassadors, to empower other young people to understand, in the next 10 years, our planet is going towards overheating. What do we need to do? Yeah. And that is the arguments and situation that we're trying to engage our young people. So really, that's me.
Wow, that is a lot. You have achieved a lot there. I wanted to go into, you said that you're helping young people. So who is the target audience for Academy Achievers, and how does that apply in parallel to the normal academic, path to college, and what is the age as well?
Okay, so we work with 5 to 19-year-olds. Mm-hmm. So when I set up Academy Achievers, it was really because of my daughter. Okay, so 5 to 19-year-olds, I didn't realize that was a massive, vision. Yeah, that was too big. It was massive. So that's why we have so many different program running, because parents and young people say, no, we want to do that, but we want to do it at a younger age. We want to do, the employability. We want to know how to code. We want to do the robots. We want to do the AI. I'm like, oh my gosh. The only reason why I was able to do it because I used to be a teacher, and then a lot of people that I work with are teachers. So in terms of what Academy Achievers do and who are our target audience, it's literally when you're a teacher, you teach everybody. And that's what happened. I would teach Black, white, Asian, Chinese, and they were my children. So there was not really an issue really, because everybody had to pass. It was a no-brainer. But then when I set up Academy Achievers, I started to do some, not only did I start to look at the data for my daughter, but then I started to see that there was a disparity amongst Black children, especially Caribbean boys, but also what piqued my interest was white working class boys. Really weird. So that was why Academy Achievers was set up, was because of my daughter and white working class boys, because of their aspirations. And I wanted to see how we could improve that, by showing them role models. And then I saw that there was a correlation between, ensuring that we had the right role models with the right skill set to be able to empower young people. And I thought, So as we started to develop our STEM curriculum, we had children from every area of the globe. Lithuania, Ukraine, literally coming to our summer school. They're like saying, we want to do cooking. Yeah, we want to cook for our robot. We want to understand different recipes. I'm like, really? And so we had to cater for all these young people. Even we had young girls, like these young girls were white young girls who couldn't speak English from Ukraine. But they were coming, and their attitude was that they were passionate, and we were loving them even more. And then they were like, they had their own attitude. They loved dancing. I thought, this is great. So we started to get them involved with the, developing their career aspect and their attitude to learning. But what we noticed that when we put on like robotic clubs and STEM clubs, the girls weren't coming. Yeah, if they were coming, probably one or two, but the boys were coming in their droves. There's so many, it was just too much. And the testosterone levels were so high. We're like, whoa, we need to lower it down. So we said, okay, we need to do a club for just girls. And again, we noticed that only a low percentage of girls were coming. And we thought, okay, how are we going to try and engage them? So then I started to do my research and saw that there was a digital skills gap amongst the Black women. It's just non-existent. Yeah, for women, overall in the tech industry, it's low. When you look at BAME, it's low, but when you look at Black women, it's even lower. And I thought, no, we need to really address this. So for the Be Me project, it specifically focuses on understanding a career pathway into the tech industry. But it's such a big program. Remember, we want to reach 1 million. I noticed that Paulette Watson always do big. I have a strategic mind, and I'm always looking at ways to ensure that we're about impact. Yeah, what the outcome looks like and how we're going to impact the young people. So with the Be Me, we're looking at employability. What's the route? We're also looking at, approaching from a holistic approach. And everything that we do aligns to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And we're going deeper in that, and we're looking at, including our young girls. We're looking at gender equality, making sure that we're developing entrepreneurialism. And because of because I've done that, I have that experience. I am an entrepreneur. I've won awards. I'm able to personalize that curriculum. I have experience of writing a whole scheme of work according to the computer science, sociology, business study curriculum. I've done that. So when I'm working with my team, or when we're having these conversations, I'm able to just impart what I've done, and there's like a synergy, and they go away and they create something great for the girls. But also, we do have a Digitech committee where our Black girls are part of, and they are leading on in terms of what does tech look like to them. So when I do like the Insta and I talk about the Internet of Things, I explain what it is. I tell them what I do, what's the examples of the different jobs they can get into in regards to getting to be an Internet of Things engineer. I talk about blockchains. I talk about, again, looking at their career pathways, virtual reality, augmented reality, genomics. And as you can see on my LinkedIn post, I highlight all the different role models that they can, follow, or they can talk to, whatever suits them. But at the moment, we are, with the Be Me program, it's developing our mentoring platform, but it's unique. It's a different platform that's going to be tailored to our girls. And we're working in collaboration with one of the corporates who are helping us to ensure that we have our AI and it works for the benefit of the girls, making sure that when they are paired up to a woman of color, that these girls really understand what area of the tech that they want to get into. So it's very personalized. It could be they want to get into gaming, but why do they want to get into gaming? What is it that they want to achieve? And we don't want to just get into gaming for the sake of getting into gaming, but we want them to look out. If they get into gaming, they're looking at solving a problem. Yeah. Is it to do with, are they going to create a game that's going to look at, someone who's obese, or, look at creating more food, at a lower price, getting them to think about how they're going to do this. And that's how we're moving forward. And you know what, John, it's fun because it's not just us. We're not just an organization that just offers training. We're bigger and we're better than that. We're looking at, we are understanding what the needs are, but we're breaking down the blocks. So we know that the blocks out there is oppressive algorithm. We know that, AI tools can discriminate against our girls. Yeah. And I'm talking about it. And my girls are like, I didn't know that. The person says, I didn't know that. And I said, well, yesterday I was talking at the prevention in knife crime for our young people, about digital policing. And I was talking to the police about, this is not just a them and us, it's bigger than that. We really need to understand the root cause of why these tools are created and what are the unrealistic biases that are put in place that will block or discriminate our young people. And when we start to unpack it, I'm saying that at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all have our life challenges, we all have to go back home and live our own life. But when we come out into this virtual reality world, we can't afford to block people because of the unrealistic biases. We need to do better and we need to address it and have those uncomfortable conversations, because when we do, then we can start to identify the risk and mitigate it.
So that's great. You actually helping all those young people to articulate their purpose, to actually identify their purpose and actually articulate and then act on them. That's superb. In your journey, and I know that you are still on your journey, what are the main challenges that you have encountered?
One of the main challenges that I encountered was when my father died, and that was in 2019. And I remember, I don't want to be morbid, but I remember when we were called and I had to go to the hospice and he was laying there. Now, my father's a man that will always, once he saw daylight, he was up and he was ready to go. Yeah. And that was the first day in all my 40 plus years that he didn't wake up. He didn't get up. And that was a challenge for me. But I knew one thing he would say to me, he would always say, once there's breath, there's life. And he said, have no concern of the dead. Once you're alive, keep going. And that morning, when I looked at Dad, and I'm like, really? You're not going to wake up? That's it. And he didn't. And I was like, wow. But I knew that I had to go back and do a massive tournament. Yeah. So I had to leave my dad and go, and I had to support all these young people to get ready for a massive competition on the Saturday. And I went to the school, was working with the kids. And they were amazing. They said, oh, miss, you okay? I said, no. I said, I will tell you what I got to tell you afterwards. And we did our work and they were excited. And then I said to them, my dad just died. And these young kids looked at me and goes, wow, how are you here? Why are you not, wailing and blah, blah? I said, because I know my dad lived for the young people. And the fact that I'm here anyway, that Saturday we won the tournament. And as a result of that, we've been the host and we've been delivering over the last 3. So the robotic AI tournament is basically in remembrance of my father, because it was a challenge that he died when he did. But what it taught me was to be resilient. Yeah, every day I still had to go on because he wasn't coming back. And I didn't want to be, getting depressed and not pushing forward. So really, my dad has basically helped. My dad's death. And not only his death, his life, because he was an engineer. And he was somebody that always said to me, you're the head and you're not the tail. You're above, you're not beneath. He goes, he said, you're a leader. Go for it. He called me teacher. And he was a Christian. And his thing about a teacher was that someone who was knowledgeable, who had wisdom, and he would always say, teacher, come and talk to me. I'm like, oh, whatever, Dad, whatever. But he was my hero, and he still is my hero, even in death. And I'm not saying that I'm living for my dad, because he would say, Paulette, that's nonsense, live for you. But I use that same energy that whenever I talk, or when I give a talk, or I give a speech, or I talk to a young person or anybody, I make sure I'm enthusiastic and I'm drawing people in, but in a positive light. So that was my challenge. And now this week was a big challenge as well, in terms of I've got 5 deadlines to meet today. And I don't know if you read the book, it's called Eat That Frog. And literally you have to tackle each task little by little in chunks. And I've been tackling each of those 5 tasks by chunks every day for like 2-3 hours. Today, I'm able to submit everything that I set out to achieve. And that's how I look at life now. I'm planning and I'm doing a little bit every single day. So it's not a big task at the end. Mm-hmm. So challenge is good. Failure is good. And so is success.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So talking about success, how do you define success for you? And have you actually, for yourself, achieved success already?
For me, success is failure inside out. So whatever failures is always a success for me. So I think just being alive is a success story for me. Mm-hmm. Being able, once I'm here, I'm able to do more and above than what I'm able to. So that's my success story, just being resilient. And I love the mornings. I love waking up and seeing the sun. I'm just loving that I'm healthy, and that I have my right mind. And I am a very creative person. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that, but yeah, I'm very, very, very creative. And mm-hmm. yeah, so that's success. And the young people in the Be Me project's going really, really well. And that's success. That's what success looks like, the Be Me.
That's great. So in your opinion, has the global crisis improved your industry and your company's ecosystem?
Has the global impact? I would say yes. Yes, in a sense where I knew when I was following the World Economic Forum and I'm doing my talks like pre-COVID, I knew that there was going to be digital
revolution.
Yeah, and I knew that that there was going to be 33 million robotic AI jobs created within the next 2 to 5 years, and I knew that there would be a shortage. So I knew that there was going to be a problem, and the reason why I knew that because we started our robotic club and we were looking for skills, people who had those skills, and we knew that they just didn't exist. And we were like, what? So we knew that there was a problem, and then it just highlighted it because I was teaching about globalization as well, and I understood what that meant. And I thought, wow, there's going to be a time when we'll be able to just work remotely anywhere in the world, but our people are going to be able to embrace that. And so when COVID happened, we had to look at delivering differently. And like I said, if I wasn't a person who had that confidence in tech and I had those skill set, I don't think our business would be here now. The fact that I'm a director for MPW and I'm leading on the digital transformation, and I do talks on supporting small businesses on that journey, I started to understood that the benefits that having a digital strategy in place could enhance a organization or a business, growth. Yeah. Even though you have to go through the pains, your growing pains, but if you have a legacy system and you're moving over to a cloud platform, you're going to have to transfer your data over. Yeah, it's going to be problems, but the new system, it's making things more automated, more seamless. The workflow is more efficient, more effective. People can communicate using their own devices, but, you have to think about the issues of security and, understanding putting the right policies in place. So we had to think about all that, Joe. And yes, it was a big impact, but we got a massive funding from the Home Office. So that came just in time. So it didn't really impact us as much. If we didn't have that funding, I think it would have. But we was able to have a rest because we did things remotely. We didn't have to go to or travel to the schools. A lot of things we just stayed at home and we did it online. So that was fantastic. Having the different meetings, using using Google Meets, getting our young people to log on to the Google Classrooms. So we're using the Google, Suite platform because it was easy to use, because all these different apps and all the opportunity where we can do like Google Forms and just get information like literally instantaneously, really put us on the map. And that was good. What we also understood that sometimes I'm a person, I want things to happen now. And now I've realized that actually now may not be good. Sometimes it does take time and you just plan towards it. So the globalization has been really, really good because especially with LinkedIn, a lot of people want to work with us globally. They want to do what we're doing in the UK. So yeah, onwards and upwards. So I'm embracing the digitalization, globalization, the climate change. We are really, embracing it and looking forward to what happens next.
Thank you for sharing. So my last question here, you talk about being able to deliver talks for young enterprise and young company. So do you have any word of advice for anyone looking to set up their enterprise, their own company?
Okay, so yes, I do actually. Say, for example, you want to set up your own enterprise or you want to get into a gaming job, the gaming industry. I think, if you don't have that experience, but you're good at playing the games. And I remember when I used to teach gaming to our young people, especially the A-levels, we was always to explain to them that they needed to set the scene. Yeah, think about what genre, are they looking to go in? Is it action? Is it, comedy? Whatever it is, you need to set the scene. And the young people didn't want to do that. They didn't want to just go straight into creating the game. We're like, no, we've got to think of the problem. How are you going to solve it? So if you don't have that necessary skill set, it's not a problem. If you're looking at a gaming job, think about, highlight your transferable skills. Yeah, and how that can link to what it is that you really want to pursue your career in. Think about getting involved with, I know there's different meetup groups, network with game industry professionals, speak to key people, be prepared to take a hit, on terms of, if you may go in as a junior, your wage, your salary might be a lot lower to what you're getting now, or it might be just right if you're a young person. Mm-hmm. Understand the different contracts. Think about what course that you want to get in. So for me, when I'm advising any young person, I always tell them to, when you're going online, look on like the different job description, see what it is that they're looking for. What is the key skills that is needed, and just brush up on your skills. Mm-hmm. Prepare and plan. And practice every single day, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, just make yourself more unique, marketable, and the best you can be. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paulette. So in summary, resilience, purpose, preparation are the key words that I'm getting from our conversation today. It was a real pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you very much. And for the viewers, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. It was Johanna, aka Jojo. Bye.
Bye.